Northern Simmer here. Let's go with temp 2 on this voiceover. The whole thing froze earlier and it just rolled out of sync, and I'm not going to bother with it. Right. So the idea for this, going straight into it, because obviously it's built with the new terrain tools. The idea was like there was an earthquake and a giant crack came down, and the council fixed everything outside. Because this lot was owned by someone else, they couldn't fix this bit. And then the lot was sold because of course the family couldn't deal with it. And this person come and built a house onto it and made something of this without actually fixing a giant crater in the middle of the ground. You might do something with that later. It's up to you really. If you want to do something with that later, it's perfectly your choice. Sorry if you hear me coughing and that. I don't know why. I've got a tickle in the back of my throat today. And it's getting in the way. So, with that, on with it. This is where I was trying to get, because you've got the new block cluster sort of thing, so trying to get them to go at the same height. Because I want, there you go, pull the thing across the top and make like a bit of a bridge overlapping the two, because the idea is you're going to be able to only access from one side, and if you want to get to the other side, you're going to have to go through the actual house. So no kids sneaking over the back wall into the park sort of thing. Well, unless they're going to sneak over and then run around the passage and fixed by the council, but hey ho. But you Sims don't really do that. They always have to go through the front door and through the back and around the side, so, and through the front of the lot, so they wouldn't do that anyway. Now this roof drove me absolutely bananas. And you'll see as we go through, because it looks brilliant like that, but when you change the colouring of it, it doesn't really work. And then when I added the, you'll see when I add another story up, there was like an overlap into the actual room, in a shadow of the wall on the inside of the room. So yeah, you can see there, it's going down into the next room over, and it's like, yeah, skylight, not what I want. And it drove me absolutely balmy. I couldn't get rid of the shadow in the end. I built a wall over it to hide it. If you've got any idea on how to get rid of these shadows, watch and see what I was dealing with, and then tell me how you get rid of the shadow and how you would fix it in the comments below. I would really love to know. I'm not the most advanced builder. I'm probably like mid-range. Most of my roofs in particular, I more often than not use that same roof. More often than not. I mean, I liked how that middle section turned out, but it drove me absolutely balmy. So it went bye-bye. No, I didn't even have to get rid of it, I just changed the roof completely, didn't I? And then like, when I was, so all my roofs practically end up the same. If you check all my builds, all the roofs are practically the same, but then all the roofs in England and the others is that same style as well, so it's just all I know. I mean, I also changed like the windows on here because it looks fine with it like that, but it's not like, it's almost like a greenhouse sort of thing, and I thought, well, I was thinking about putting a greenhouse downstairs, but do I really want to put this thing like a furnace greenhouse upstairs as well? No, it's supposed to be a walkway. So I got rid of all the extra windows and put those, just a couple of smaller ones on. And like one thing you'll notice when I builds, you'll see as I put more builds on and as I do this one, is this one in particular I've done the inside out. So I've done the inside before doing the outside. It's almost like the outside's a reflection of the personality of the person inside. It does look nice in that in the end, and I put some landscaping around and stuff. And I play with the terrain tools a little bit more and that as it goes on, and so it's not the most advanced thing for terrain wise and that. I haven't built up so much. I am kind of debating about trying to build a castle sort of thing, but it's like, in some ways you want the outside for the terrain to fit with the lot around the outside. But all our lots around the outside, because it comes so late, they're all flat. Whereas in Sims 3, you had the personality of the world. It was up, it was down, it was curved. You had lots on slopes so that you had to adapt and build around. And almost like I used to get frustrated trying to build a lot on a hill because I had no experience doing it. I didn't know how. And I used to like always make my them flat, or at least like a bit flat, and then go down the stairs or whatever, almost like it was on a cliff. It used to sometimes drive me balmy. So I'll see if I get it any further, but I'm not the most advanced builder for that sort of thing. I'm sorry about that, but I think most of my houses are probably not with craters in the ground, it's going to be on gentle hill slopes or something. I may try and do like a house on a slope or something at some point. We'll just have to wait and see what it comes up with. And those same windows pretty much get used everywhere. There isn't a lot of variation in windows, and placement of it pretty much the same at higgledy-piggledy. Packs wise, I tried to use as fewer packs as possible. Because I know not everyone's got all the packs and that, and it's not, I mean, yeah, things would be just missing when you download it, but you really want to have to find something where to fit this. You really like this item someone's got, you download it without noticing, and then you're missing this item that you really, really liked, and you then got to try and find something to fit with it. And it's not always possible, it's not always things, but house is built with stuff like that. Even if it's just like one item. There is no... This house wasn't really built with mods. There's no custom content in this. I was very, very strict with using that. And the custom content I've really got is mostly just to personalise kids' bedrooms. Because like kids are into Pokemon, they're into Harry Potter, they have this sort of thing in their bedrooms, it's not generic. But you've just mostly got all that generic stuff in bedrooms on the actual Sims itself. So that's mainly what the custom content I've actually got is for. Just to more personalise the kids' bedrooms and that. And there's the back door going in. So yeah, there's none of that in here. There's no mods. It was all, for the most part, built without testing cheats on as well, and those objects. So I can promise you'll be able to get pretty much everywhere. And that swimming pool where it's on a hill, there was no topography lines or anything like that on it. So it's just like a gentle slope, so I'll be able to walk up there. I thought, well, I'll block the kitchen up a little bit with a half wall, and I've got the circle table in there. Most of the time I use square tables and stuff, but I thought, well, that doesn't really fit here. It doesn't fit with what I thought, so I thought, I'll try the circular table. And I chose that one purely because of trying to keep packs to the minimum. A lot of the stuff, when I was picking things and putting stuff in, I was thinking, have I used something from that pack before, and trying to remember and trying to think through to keep it as minimum as possible. And I mean, that's a pretty small kitchen, but you really need much bigger when you've often only got one sim in there. But there's lots of counter space and stuff, and then I was thinking about like the cabinets and that. I mean, I use those same cabinets all the way through. So if you do get it and you haven't got a spell shot, that's actually probably the only thing I use in that pack. So if you get it, and it might not be though, so but if you get it, I think you're just going to be missing every single counter. And I've got counters in the bathrooms. It's the first time I've ever done bathrooms with counters before. Normally I just use generic things, so I thought, well, I'll do it something different. I'm alright with how it turned out. I'm often frustrated with trying to put things on and stuff. And so it's not easy with counters, but then for the most part, again in England, unless you're in like a commercial bathroom, things don't really go, unless you're in a kitchen, things aren't really on counters either. They're always separate standalone units in actual house bathrooms, so that it sticks with you. what you see around with you, it sticks with you and influences what you actually build. And it's amazing how it does that. I did use move objects a little bit for putting items on the counters on that. But for the most part, particularly for putting down the furniture, I was really, really careful with that to make sure it was actually usable. I haven't had a sim go all the way around, but I was really, really careful and really, really wary of that, and trying to be able to do that. Let's see, the first time I went through with this, it froze at this exact moment. I was chuntering away talking about this, seeing in here, and it actually froze now. When I checked it, I thought that's been there for a while. When I checked it, it jumped a load, and I was up to something else, and I was still chuntering around around the kitchen. I was debating about where I put that grand piano and stuff, and putting that grand piano there was one of the few things I could think of, but it would be easy to move that or put something else there, say like a holiday decoration or Christmas tree or something. But you can see where thing, and we've jumped upstairs now, so we're going to be looking around with the bedrooms a little bit and stuff. I was having to think of like how to put and where to put the bedrooms in, how it would work. I knew I wanted the top floor all one room, and I knew I wanted the stairs so you could look all the way down, and it's a tiny little bit fiddling to get that in and stuff, but it worked. Oh, I was hot before, and now I've gone cold. Can't win right now. And stuff. When the new update came through for the stairs, when you put them in the past, is you could only put them going up. Well, now if you press control, you can put the stairs going down, so you can see where it goes. It's a lot better. Messing again with the outside, trying to make it even. It's not 100% even. Like, got that gap there on the roof outside and bringing it in, and then you've got that outline, and oh my days, that drove me absolutely balmy. And you can see there that triangle bit on the roof that is trying to sort that out. But yeah, well, moving on. There's me trying to cover it up, and but it stays on there for a minute or two anyway, and trying to mess with the roof and bring it out and bring it back in, and calm down. So here's with like experimenting, putting the rooms in and stuff, trying to work around the doors and where I've got them, and that roof confused me for a minute because it was poking out inside, but it's supposed to be invisible. And hey, so yeah, that middle roof section is probably the hardest part of that build. This build anyway. So I'm trying to cover it up with stuff, and I did want something like a walk-in closet, but not quite. I think I've only got like the closets and that in the parents' rooms actually, and there's me. I had enough. I'm sticking that wall. It doesn't look as good. It looks better. Now I'm like experimenting with putting the turret things up both sides. It looks. You can see when I put this on. It looks a bit funny on the roof, so I couldn't get them to blend in like I wanted to, sort of thing. So I believe we'll just go back down to 1 or 2. I don't remember if we I think we left it with the 2. I've got a really bad memory. Yeah, we just left it with the 2, and it looked better going all the way up on both sides, but it just didn't work with the roof, and so it just got left like that. Which it does look admittedly a lot better. So playing with the position of the grand piano on the inside, and we're going to go up, and I thought, well, this is where we move that TV. But well, I don't really want a bedroom in here because it's like at the top of the landing, so we'll make like this a little sitting area for the TV, and oh, pardon me. trying to get a thing to put the TV on. So we'll make this like the little TV area sort of bit to sit and watch it, almost like a family area. So it's like downstairs is almost formal and place to entertain guests and have meetings and or quiet time and reading or whatever, and up here is like that. So that's quite a big bathroom. I've never done a bathroom that big. I'm not even sure what you'd put in a bathroom that big. So and then I like counted the squares for the bedroom, or the 2 rooms sort of thing, so I wanted them both about the same size. And I worked out one's got squares like it was like difficult trying to get them on, and then I like put a mirror over the top, and I put these like 2 towel shelving units thing up to sort of like frame it. And it did look nice at the end, like when it but watch out for the bathrooms, because when I finish the build, if you get all the way through at the end, it's like there's wallpaper missing on the bathrooms. Then so you can find out which one it is. Comment down below. I do fix that before it goes on the gallery. And there's another bit missing at the end in the screenshots, a tiny little slither of corner. And if you can tell me where that is as well, shout out to you. Yeah, that ends up missing at the end a little bit, but it does get fixed. It's not on the gallery yet, it's going on today. It'll be on the gallery by the time this is uploaded. But yeah, that all does get fixed, and it's fine when it goes on, trust me. So then I was like trying to work out what to put in this bedroom, because I wasn't sure, like wanted to put a desk in and stuff. And like that sort of style of furniture, what frustrates me is like, and frustrates a number of people, is like half of it's in one pack and half of it's in another. To get the full set, you need both. And I was like, well, I don't really want to keep them with the packs. I don't really want, if it was like my own, I'd happily put it in. But trying to keep the packs to a minimum, I didn't. Again, just to keep them to the minimum and stuff. And then I was like adding little bits and pieces downstairs, that clutter sort of thing, when I found it, because you would have a shoe rack and that in. But it's for a small bedroom, and I give them space and stuff. It doesn't work out fine. You could easily put the desk in there from my first pet stuff, but I didn't want to. So it's got like the activity table and that in there, and it's the base game activity table, which again keeps the packs to a minimum. I've got family and that only has a few. I've got most of my, in fact all my family, wouldn't actually be able to download this because they haven't got the packs for it. If they wanted to be able to use it and stuff, I'd have to go through and I'd have to literally find every single item that's not in the couple of packs they've got and alter it all. I was playing around a little bit with like the curtains and stuff. I think they're the only curtains I really put up in the actual whole house. But it's like you've got a couple of things in there, but it'd be easy to just take them out and stick a bed in there for them to use and make it almost like a boys' room and stuff. This is like in the girls' room. You'd actually easily just change the colours, and you'd easily have a boys' room, or change the bed and you'd easily have a toddler's room. I wanted it, I mean, you download the houses and you can simply play in them straight away, but sometimes you want that house, but there's some things that need changing, and I wanted it to be the minimum of changes for you, so you could have it. So like moving, I believe we're upstairs again now. This again was one of the harder areas, filling in for space and finding things to put in. But then I guess that's the thing of having large open spaces, and in real life you have clutter everywhere and that stuff. In this one I put like the more luxurious bathtub in, like the spa bathtub, jacuzzi thing, and separate shower, and again those same cabinets and that. But it was space and trying to think what would you put there, and trying to put like clutter in, and I think bathrooms are actually some of the easiest things to do in most ways, because you've got the same stuff in there and you need the basics in there. Bedrooms, not so much. Living rooms, okay, depending on the size of it, but bedrooms, depending on the size of it, it can be quite difficult to do. And then you've got like the closets thing, the built-in closets. I thought, well, you can always just, like in The Sims, you could easily put one in there, but in real life you would have two, one for each person. Even wardrobes, when you share with someone, you've got your wardrobe and someone else's wardrobe. Even if it's just like, or different dresses and you share a wardrobe or whatever, you've got your own space. So I did two there, and then I've got like that feature wall thing that was reminiscent of that funny V shape that was in there from the bit that I couldn't get in. And I've never really done that. I'm not sure what I make of it, but it's not too bad. And then I was like, well, what do I put here? And then in the end, I made like a little private living room space there. Most of the house, actually, if you look, is fairly open plan sort of thing. I mean, the kids' bedroom is closed off. The bathrooms are obviously closed off. But the majority of it is fairly open plan. There's not many doors. I mean, yeah, it's over 3 floors, but I wanted it as accessible as possible, open plan and accessible to most people as possible. So like, you've got the mirror in the corner, and you've got like the fish tank there, just to try and fill up space. After bathrooms, I think kitchens are fairly the most easiest to do, because what you put in the kitchen is fairly standard again. And now we've come outside for some reason. I think we're just going to sit here for a minute and then it'll move again. There's obviously some sort of jump that's been lost in the speed up. And we've gone back upstairs again. I think it's just a jump from where I've sped it up. I'm not the best at this yet, so I'll learn with experience, and then I can look back at these videos and go, that was really, really horrible. I believe we go downstairs to the passage thing sort of next, or I hope we do. I'll go back into the bathroom. I've obviously been... the windows. That's probably why we went downstairs outside, so I could click the windows. So, there we go. Problem solved. Or rather, mystery solved anyway. So there's actually a couple of rooms left now. We've got to put the pictures in for this room, and then we've got the upstairs area on the other side to do. One of those will be the bottom level will be like a greenhouse sort of thing. And then we've got the computers and Sims in the computers. Well, you need computers, don't you? So we've got that to put it in. We've got the lights to put in, obviously. And then we've got like that little walkway thing. I've got to put something in there. I can't be just left the way it is. You can't just leave a walkway like that. It just doesn't work. And then of course there's the outside to do as well. So there's not actually much left to do for the time we've got. Yeah, you can see the tables going in, and there'll be computers on there and a computer chair. And I was like, well, what else could you put in? Because we've got to have activities and stuff to do. And it took some thought, and it's like one of the reasons why it actually took so long. Like 4 hours is a long time for a build for some people, but for me, for things like this, it's actually quite average, really. Then you've got like the holiday decoration box there. Like, well, where would you put it? And I didn't want it in the main house, and I wanted it sort of like a storage bit there, so I went in there. And I am really actually happy with the way this turned out. Although some might say those desk chairs might be a bit too much. I can't remember where I quite put the climate control thermometer actually. I think I put it in the parents' room, or maybe at the top of the stairs. And then upstairs you've got like another bathroom, and that'll be in that little area. And then I bet I actually be a bit too much. And I think that bookcase is actually the only one in the whole building, which is actually quite something really. And then there'll be like another landing around the top of the stairs, and you'll see it all when we get to the end in the screenshots of it's like jumping around a little bit. Is it like for you as it is for me watching this? I'm not sure if that's really how much I sped it up or what. And then you got like the wallpaper in the bathroom going in, and putting the windows in again as well. But the idea for this room was it could be almost like a butler's room or maybe a teenager's room that wanted a bit of privacy away from mum and dad. But there's a lot of ways that room could be used. And then this is like the greenhouse bit down here, and I thought, well, you've got to have a flower arranging table in there, and I think I believe I put a woodworking table in there as well, almost like the craft sort of thing. I thought that was a good place there to go, and I don't really use those items much, but I know a lot of people do. I wanted you to be able to use this without a lot of changes, without a lot of additions and stuff. And we put plant pots down as well, and I took a lot of care of where I put them plant pots and that, and I put like another balcony bit to get outside as well, because you've got the foundation raised, you need stairs to get down. But it took a lot of thought and a lot of work for it to be done, and it was certainly 4 hours worth spent, I can say that. I don't regret any of it anyway. And I think that's the main thing really. And then we're getting the plant pots out, and it's jumped around a bit. I'm sure some of this is missed. I'm going to have to be careful when speeding things up, maybe not to speed it up so much. It was like triple the speed, double the speed, and it's obviously jumping around a little bit. I'll double check the name. I mean, it's still down as Twin Oracle Point on here at the moment. I'll double check the name when I upload it. I might change the name, I might not. It's just Twin Oracle Point is what I built it on. And we go back to playing with the terrain tools. So I've got the big pool. I want the kid pool for like if someone wanted a toddler in there or for an adult to play in. But of course, like we discovered that's one of the things that can't go on a hill, and I wanted it close to the pool so that people can watch. So I'm playing with the terrain tools again to flatten it out, to blot out a bit so you can play with it and that. And I've actually discovered that the Sim Supply, I mean that's the smallest you can use, and it's a little frustrating in some ways. But Sim Supply has got all the keycord shortcuts and ways to get that tool even smaller. So go watch his tutorial on the train. It is really, really useful. So that's like the Sim Supply and that, and he does a lot of really, really good tutorials. I watch him in Deligracy and that, and they are really, really good. But his tutorial is really good, and Deligracy's got a really good tutorial for the new stylus career that's come out with there. This is what the update as well, and I haven't played that. I'm gonna have to play around with it. And then I had those chairs and that there, and then I was messing around with like the terrain and stuff, and then I discovered these chairs and tables have disappeared, so I had to put them back in a second time. And there's the border going in and that as well. I left, and you can see the plant pots out. I left a lot of that space empty for if someone wanted, for if someone wanted like an orchard or something out there, or to put more kids' toys and stuff out. So a lot of it you can make your own. There's plenty of space to make your own, and there's messing with the terrain again a bit more to try and even things out a little bit. It's going to take some getting used to that terrain and how it works and the different tiles and stuff. We'll all get there. It's like anything new, it just takes some time to play with and get used to, really. Because I wanted it like on the hill, but I wanted it usable also. and then we're going to fill that in. I'm just making it even deeper again to make it more of a cavern, because I decided it wasn't deep enough, and you can see the topography lines there as well. I thought, well, the grass at the bottom doesn't really work, so let's cover it in brown. So I like how that actually really turned out in the end and stuff. And we're going to be coming up to the screenshots in a moment, and they're really, really clear and really, really useful. And watch out for that hidden bit I mentioned about where there's a gap missing on one of the photos, but actually is fixed now. And again, if you found it and mention it in a comment, shout out to you. If I don't and you do mention it and spot it, just give me a poke. But again, keep an eye out for that bathroom that wasn't done as well. I believe there's a quick screen spot of it, but it's not in the screenshots like the little hidden one. I believe it's a quick thing before we go into the screenshots, that one. The bathroom. And then we're just quickly doing the front garden area. Because I thought, well, it's got to look nice, it's got to fit in. It's not the most grandest house, but it is quite grand. You need a little fountain in the middle, and I just wanted it to look good. I wanted it to be nice, and in some ways I wish you could put the fencing right to the front, because I'd have liked to fence off that cavern, because it would be fenced off in real life, but I couldn't, so it's just a Sims sort of thing. So if you actually know a shortcut for this, we'll do that. I don't know who's got one. Comment that one down now. We've all got to help each other sort of thing. Like the last of the wallpaper and that is going in there. And that. So the last of the outdoor stuff is now going in, and we're nearly at the end of the video and stuff. So keep an eye out for the bathroom, and comment it, and I'll leave you, because the screenshots are going to be starting now. So have a good day. Bye.